Yo, 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 this is your friendly neighborhood knucklehead, and this is the vlog. This is my second vlog on this new journey, but it is my third vlog. Um, but anyway, last vlog when I was declaring my new journey and showing you around my room and pretty much putting it out there as this is day one, is we're about 1 week into like the new year, and I'm about halfway through one of the challenges that I set up for myself in order to start doing some work on my internal healing, my internal growth, and just my self-awareness and figuring out who I am. It's really strange because how do you know who you are? And this might be philosophical, or it even might not be something we wonder too often. I kind of feel like, especially in America, we boil life down to just what we're doing, how we're feeling in the moment, and like self-control and again controlling what's going on around us. And it's kind of a stressful way to live. And so I'm trying to, rather than the new year trying to do all new things, I'm just trying to handle myself in a different way. I'm trying to do the same things with a new sense of purpose. And that's sort of what this vlog series is going to be about, and that's sort of what my challenge and what my goal is for what's going on. So overall, I think this vlog, it's going to go in different ways. I don't really know where this is going to go, but I know where I am right now and what I'm trying to do right now with this vlog. And that's to be able to see myself and to be able to see what state of mind I was in the past, and how it's going to vary through the different stages of this journey that I'm taking myself on. Now, this might sound a little vague, and as vlogs go on, I'm going to be putting more and more of myself out there, giving more and more backstory, context, and even really just detail on what I'm actually doing. But right now, I think it's important to figure out what goals we're gonna set for ourselves. The new year is a great way to realign yourself, and it's a great excuse for figuring something out. For me, what I'm trying to do now is, like I said, I'm not really trying to do anything new, but I am in a new living situation, and I am, this vlog side to me is a little bit new. So I am trying new things, but again, the goal is my sense of purpose, my internal, I guess, direction, and my satisfaction with myself. And what I've noticed, we have kind of two sides of the same coin, I think, are going to be our sense of self, because we're able to listen to our inner child, or listen to really who we are, our inner selves. And also the other side is our ego. And I think both of these are two sides of the same coin that really define our identity, or who we are. And my goal right now is sort of letting go of the ego a little bit, and really trying to dig as deep as I can, going back to even my childhood and things like that, to figure out not just who I am, but why I do the things that I do. And in tackling that, I think I'm going to be able to really discover what my purpose is, and to have purpose in doing things the way I do. So this new blog that I have coming out kind of started digging at the fact that I had all of these content outlets, and my idea was to always keep myself busy. And that's something that I picked up on as a teenager, like letting go of substance abuse. And the system that I got into to be able to stay sober and to not get into bad thoughts and substance abuse was to keep myself busy. And I kind of hit that as a late teenager, and I kind of took that attitude all the way through my 20s, looking up to people like Henry Rollins, who just, just preach work ethic and things of that. So there was a lot of working hard ingrained in me and staying busy. And like I said in the last vlog, I had all these lists, and it's like life just became one big to-do list. And when I cross something off my to-do list, whether it is something really meaningful to me, like practicing for a show or putting out a new blog or having a podcast, like when I put these things out, cross it off the list, out of sight, out of mind, right on to the next thing. I wasn't really getting my fulfillment. And maybe I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I just think that I want to reclaim that aspect of my life. So my main goal really is coming up with my sense of purpose. And what I talked about in the last vlog and what I continue to talk about with this journey, what I mean by journey and defining what my journey is, again, talking about starting new things. Another big new thing for me is getting a new therapist. And through that new therapist, she exposed me to the side of, I had like a new diagnosis, and she was kind of disclosed to me that I was looking at things on an external surface level, and I wasn't realizing that those were caused by something internal, right? So we're going in circles now, external, internal, external, internal, right? So that I was observing what was going on the outside and trying to manage that, where she was the first person to tune me into, well, you're seeing these things external because there's really something going on inside of you. And I needed to dig a little bit deeper with her, and through that, I was able to figure out that I had a real unhealed trauma from growing up, and exploring how to heal my trauma is when I started this journey and taking on new things to do, because there's not really like, how do you heal, right? What do you do to feel good about yourself? What do you do to feel a sense of purpose? What do you do to feel fulfilled? And I was realizing that my unfulfillment was a result of unhealed trauma, and my need to constantly stay busy was a result of unhealed trauma and trying to overachieve and getting my sense of value through what I could accomplish, and not getting my sense of value from who I am. So my sense of identity became centered around the things that I do, and not really knowing who I am and what I'm comfortable with. And this is something that is like, this is a sense of consciousness. This is a sense of self-awareness. So what it really started with is learning how to forgive myself for things that went on in the past, and figuring out how to let things go to be able to be at peace, or just an internal sense of content with who I am and what I'm doing. So along with therapy, trauma therapy, I started I started meditation. So I went like a scientific psychology route, and I also went a spiritual route, because even though I was doing the things that I needed to do for therapy and the worksheets and discussing and really figuring things out, that was bringing me to a sense of awareness to things. But then once you're aware to them, your next step is, what do you do about it? How do you remedy this? How do you take care of this, and how are you able to treat yourself in a sense of treatment and applying something? And I started, like I said in the last vlog, I started with YouTubing how to let go, because that's what I was really harboring. I was not able to let go of things, or having a really hard time with it. And now coming out of, disappointing ends to relationships that I was in, and also what I was doing externally in terms of constantly producing things, all of these were just attributing themselves to me unable to let go, and also claiming my value within myself. Now, this vlog might be a little all over the place. I'm still putting it all together. And again, this is going to be a process. Just like if you are starting something new and you are rediscovering who you are, it's going to be a process. So talking about this first week of the year, and also halfway through this challenge that I picked up, through YouTubing, letting go and looking at the different processes that other people had, I decided I need to try something. I'm going to see what works here. And the first person that really resonated with me was Aaron Doughty. And I had some info on that in the last vlog, but Aaron Doughty had a similar upbringing situation, and he found himself also in similar patterns with relationships, with codependency, or just not able to hold on to his sense of value. And he went through his spiritual awakening and different consciousness and his research, and a big thing, or a big tool for him, was meditation. So one of the big things that I started this year was daily meditation through some of the guided meditations that he has on his YouTube. And it's been a process. At first, I want to say I was like, this was really blowing me away. Like, I was crying. I was picturing who I was as a child, and I don't have pictures of myself really as a kid, and I don't really even remember what I looked like, but somehow through the meditation, it was tapping into my subconscious and all of that, and it really made me see things a new way within myself. And that was like the first few days were really kind of groundbreaking. And then I was up and down with it a little bit, because I was having a hard time focusing on the meditations, because I started having thoughts, and that's kind of bringing me to a different sense of awareness, where I probably was a little bit on the spectrum of ADHD as a child, and that's probably exposing itself now a little bit when I tried to do these meditations, and I'm unable to focus at times. But again, it's a process. I'm able to forgive myself. I'm not trying to control and try to solve this problem or do things as quickly as possible. I'm letting the process happen, letting go. And that's been my new outlook, is letting things come to me, letting go, being okay with myself, being okay being by myself, and being okay with putting things out there. And if they connect with people, great. If they don't, then that's okay too, because at the end of the day, this is something I'm doing to be able to process myself in a new way. So for these vlogs coming up, it's gonna be a little bit of a review of some of the meditations that are on Aaron Doughty's channel. And I'm so like skeptical of everything on the internet, and maybe you are too. And that's also a tough thing when there's so many YouTubers out there, there's so many experts, there's so many articles, there's so much information. It's so hard to figure out what's real and what's going to work for you. But what I'm sort of learning now is I just need to try something. And Aaron, I stumbled onto looking at YouTube videos of letting go, and I was able to pick up on some strategies from other YouTubers, but there was something about the way Aaron spoke that again resonated with me, and I was like, I'm gonna try what this guy has figured out. And it's tough because a lot of these people, like, they want you to pay for their courses and this and that, but when you're really starting out and you're so unsure of what to do, it's really good to have free resources to really get you into these things without necessarily throwing down your credit card or whatever. So I started first with Aaron's, he had a link to What's My Vibration, and I'll probably get into this in the next vlog. And his angle was about having a vibration within you, and there's a chart for vibration levels and this and that, but sometimes it's really hard to tell if these guys are real people, you know what I mean? And so hopefully, again, through this video vlog element, you can tell that I'm a real person, like just trying these things out and putting these things together. And so to put a recap quickly on where I'm at now, 9 days a week, 9 days into the year, I've been listening to Aaron's daily meditations, and I've definitely noticed that I have a different awareness to myself. Meditating isn't gonna stop the automatic thoughts that I have, the unhealed trauma that I'm still working on, but I've definitely noticed, and I'm definitely going to continue to notice through these vlog series. And I also keep like a journal for myself to see where I'm at mentally. And when I look back on the journal from like 2 weeks ago, I was just all over the place. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, I was, I was just completely unsettled with what I was doing, what my future was going to be. And now I have composure, I have a sense of direction, I have goals, and I'm able to produce and do what I love again, which is connecting with people in different ways. So I'm excited to start streaming again. I'm excited to put out this new blog that I've written, and I'm excited to get the podcast up and going again now that I'm living in this new place. Thanks for checking me out, and hopefully I'll have another update soon.